Yeah, I mean, I don't know if people can hear, but my background is security with dogs.
Yeah.
And Bear is very much a crucial part of these episodes nowadays. Terry, great to have you on the show, mate.
Good to be here, dude.
Tell us a little bit about yourself and what it is that you do.
Yeah, sure, no problem. So, my name's Terry Hobday, Terence, with my mum's about.
Terence.
I own and run TDH Media.
Big name.
Well, it's nice for you to say so. It's not. I've never sat myself, but yeah. I've been going for 22 years.
Yeah.
Predominantly weddings, but I do other bits as well. So I do a bit of corporate, do a lot with some schools as well. But majority of my time is with weddings.
And what got you into weddings? Was it a happy accident or?
Yeah, totally that, bruv. It was totally that.
The typical story of like friend once.
It's exactly that. So I've been in media my whole life.
Yeah.
I've told this story before. Don't laugh. I started off at Take a Break magazine when I was 17 years old. Yep. So bang in the middle of the 90s. I'm quite old. Bang in the middle of the 90s. I was in the magazine industry, and it was at the time of no internet.
Yeah.
The way you got your information was from magazines. You know, if it would be. I never worked for these companies, but GQ and Empire and Take a Break at the time was the biggest selling magazine in the country. It's like at one point.
Is it still?
I don't know. Circulation now for magazines is just
it's on its head now.
It's just crashed. But the thing is with it was that it was a competition magazine.
Yeah.
So you had a lot of these women, in for competition. So I learnt my trade there. Then I went into graphics for a couple of years.
And this was all doing photo and video, or like
no, that came after.
Right. Okay.
So I went into an advertising agency for 10 years.
Wow.
In Covent Garden.
Yeah.
And I was on their multimedia team. So I went. It was 99 when it was. So it was the internet bubble was in full swing, and they wanted to start a media branch of their business. I'd always had a fascination with cameras. I've been filming all the time. Like I had a baby and all kinds of stuff like that. I'm a big cinephile. A bit like yourself. I'm a big movie fan.
Yeah.
And I launched there. So it was a photography side, it was a video side, but mainly a online business in terms of creating websites for customers and stuff like that. I was doing that, loving doing the photography and the video for that. And then my mate was getting married, and he just at the time didn't have a lot of cash. He was young. It's like, especially back then. And he said, "Would you do my wedding for me as a wedding present?"
Beer and a McDonald's on the way home.
Literally.
Yeah.
Did it. Gave it to him. He showed someone else. They said, "This is cool. Like can you do mine?" I went, "Yeah, all right." That was it, bruv.
Yeah.
Obviously marketing and everything, learnt a lot, what to do, what not to do.
It's great to have that background going into something like this, isn't
it? Yeah, I'm very lucky. I'm very, very lucky. I worked hard, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
There was a lot of early starts, late nights, especially in advertising, in production, because you're the last, But it was a good learning curve, and obviously working in Covent Garden, it was great to have a good place to work.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if people can hear, but my background is security with dogs. And Bear is very much a crucial part of these episodes nowadays. So yeah, there was a lot to learn for me, like getting started. But I think it's a great part about owning a business. If you're into it anyway.
If you don't make a mistake, dude, you learn nothing.
No,
it's that straightforward.
No, I mean, if you look at my website from 5 years ago to today, it's and work as well. Like
100%.
I've still got my first ever wedding video on my phone. Yeah, just to look back on and like.
Yeah. I mean, it's all down to the technology at the end of the day, and what we had available at the time. When I first started, it was tapes.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're talking Sony,
the old dad cam.
You've got it, but obviously there was a semi-pro more virtual. It was a VX 2100E, I think it was.
Yeah. Like that. Have you still got it?
I've got one as a memento. I've still got some old HD video cameras as well, because I do tape conversions and stuff for people.
Yeah.
So they still bring in mini DV tapes. Just chuck them straight in and I can convert them. Yeah, I don't. Well, I've got some old Macs as well. I don't throw away my Macs, so I've got the first 1984
Yeah,
Mac.
yeah.
I've got my dustbin lid Mac. I've got my first Mac I ever had. I've got a, G5 Tower. I've got an iMac. Do you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
bit like you, I'm a little bit of a
Hoarder.
yes.
So when it comes to camera gears, man, I'm just like I'm gutted. I never kept my first camera, but it was just an old like Canon 750D. Like it
Yeah.
was nothing. It was awful camera.
Yeah. But to
But
learn on,
yeah, it's looking back and knowing what you got you started on. But yeah, but it's
I've
not
still got my
right
5D Mark One. You
Yeah.
know, and I'll never get rid of it. You
Yeah.
know, it was. I mean, it's the ISO is like 1600. Do you know what I mean? It's,
Yeah, yeah.
And it's noisy as anything. You know, but yes, I'm a hoarder. I like to keep stuff, memories. And listen, the way the secondhand market is nowadays, pop culture is nowadays. You can have an old toy in your cupboard that you think that means absolutely nothing, and in about 30 years' time, it's worth 500 quid.
Well,
you know,
we see on an auction site the other day that one of the first, like the original print of the Harry Potter book.
yeah.
sold
I
for, like,
don't want to even guess how much.
50 grand.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm gonna root through my parents' loft soon
You
and
might have one, dude.
try and find my old Toy Story toys.
You might
as
have
well.
one. You might have one. You might have one.
So what do you think's different in the wedding industry now than it was when you got started?
I think that's a multi-layered answer.
Yeah.
I think the obvious thing is social media.
Yeah.
That plays a huge part in our day-to-day roles in what we do now, whether it's promoting ourselves of where we are at a wedding fair or an open day to I'm at this wedding today to here's the wedding I shot. You know, because that's the stages of sharing the stuff that we do anyway. I think technology as well as
Mate,
you know,
so much.
dude. I mean, listen, I'm talking about everything I used to shot was on a tripod.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going back 20 years.
Yeah.
And it was on the Sony VX2100Es, I think they were on those. And that restricts what
movement.
what looks good, what doesn't look good. You know, you'd be on the dance floor and you'd be like that, you know, whereas now we're both on gimbals. And if it's not on a gimbal, something's wrong, you know, as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to, I mean, I know these cameras nowadays, they've got good stabilizers and everything else, but you can't stabilize this, you know, it's just not there.
It's great seeing the progression through everything. Like if I look at my mum and dad's wedding video, it is like what you say. It's an old boy with a rig on his shoulder.
Reveals with film lenses and stuff like
There's nothing cinematic to it.
No, not
Whereas
at all.
now, like I say to everyone when they book, they're like little movies now.
Yeah,
they're your little movie.
Yeah,
and some of the cameras we shoot on now are used in big productions.
Yeah, I mean absolutely. I mean, Sony FX3 was used to shoot The Creator with Gareth Edwards. I mean, I think that was the time when cinematographers in the industry hated digital SLR cameras because all of a sudden you could put a 50mm 1.4 lens on a fairly cheap camera, and you would have the most stunning depth of field that you just couldn't achieve before.
No.
And I think that was a big turning point within the industry, is when still cameras became video cameras, and the lenses were cheaper to get. Obviously going up from 720 to 1080, and then from 1080 to 4K, and then
frame rate.
And 50s and 120s, and you know my Canon can shoot 8K. I'm like, it overheats while doesn't it and blows up, but it can do it. You know, so technology's had a massive influence in it. So social media, mixture of that and technology, I think has completely changed the whole industry. I mean, even to booking, you know, I had a client yesterday, never met him before, never spoke to him before, phoned me up, literally on the phone for like, I would say 25 seconds. Right. And like, are you available 5th of December? Yep, sweet, I'm booking you. I'm like, what? You know, whereas the old days, you'd be at an open day or a wedding fair. I remember my first one I ever did, stupidly sat up all night burning singular DVDs, because I didn't have the money to get a DVD duplicator at the time, and burning them all to take them to wedding fairs just to give out to people to watch the DVDs so they could see what you was doing, because there weren't streaming available. There wasn't a way to put the video online so they could see it. You had to actually physically give them a disc so they could watch it at home. So
It's got easier in a way, but also like expensive and a bit more difficult to get hold of all the good. Because like you know how silly you'd look now if you turn up with an old VHS camera.
oh yeah, I mean, dude, I was at a wedding. I think I sent you a picture.
Yeah, yeah.
I was at a wedding, you know, and there was a guy still using one. Great, as long as the client
Once
knows what they're getting, right? As long as the client knows what they're getting and what they're paying for, cool. You can use whatever equipment you want. I mean, I've heard guys walking around with the DJI.
Oh, the Osmo.
Yeah. I mean,
like GoPro.
Well, no, listen, GoPro is achievable for certain things.
Yeah,
like if you want to ride or something like that, and you want to get something cool, but filming a whole wedding on one, me personally, I don't really, because it's got a really wide lens. So
I think I've never used one, but I imagine it's a lot like the drone. So I actually filmed one of my friend's wedding just on a drone. It's because she only wanted drone footage.
Yeah, cool, yeah.
And I thought, we was at Danson Park. And after like 10 minutes of flying this thing around, someone comes around it, you can't fly that, you can't. And you have the argument of like why and this, that, the other. You just sort of give in because it's her wedding day.
Yeah.
So I ended up just holding this drone
and just
and
walking
looking
around.
at my pad like that.
You can do it.
And it worked great.
You can do it. You
worked great.
Yeah. But you're going to have no depth of field.
And it's very limited on what you can do with it.
Yeah. I mean, it also the way the drone moves, so it will move like that and then the camera will move like that afterwards, or you go that way and then the camera comes afterwards kind of thing. But yeah, listen, there are so many different ways you can film nowadays, whereas back when I first started, you know, it was film cameras and tape video cameras, you know.
So how many weddings do you think you could do now, like with film? Like you
dude, I mean,
back then because you got to edit it all and splice it all together.
It's not so easy for something like that. It's the list of what's expected now.
Yeah.
Like, so when I first started, most people would say, listen, I'd like a little shot of my dress for me, please, if you don't mind. And can you get me dad seeing me? Right?
Yeah.
Now the list, even before the ceremony starts, is you've got to shoot the shoes, you've got to shoot the jewellery, you've got to shoot the bridesmaids' dresses, you've got to shoot. And now it's not just bride prep. You know, a big chunk of the weddings that I do now are bride and groom prep.
Yeah.
So cooling's a great example because you've got the groom room downstairs. You'll go and start with the bride first. The boys arrive. So then you've got to do whatever you shot with the girls. They'll be kind of expecting that with the boys. So you've got to do I call it a smorgasbord, but a smorgasbord of the shoes and the pocket watch and everything else. His suit. And then, you know, that's before we even started on the hair and makeup. Yeah. So the list now that's expected, and I get it because of social media and what you're showing and everything else, it's huge. Yeah. It's huge.
But social media plays a massive part in all the trends you see now, right?
Oh, 100%.
Because it's not just now the flat lays and the dad reveals and all them. It's people want something fun and unique. And I think since COVID as well, that which is great. I mean, for us, it breaks the monotony down. I
think people think it's unique, but because we work in the industry, we see it all the time, you know. And
but when we do see unique,
it's very rare. It's very rare nowadays that I see something that I haven't seen before. But when I do, I think, oh, that's, you know, something different, something to make it your day a little bit different from everyone else's, which is what most couples are trying to do. And they try and make it. It's not just memorable for them, but it's also rememberable for
guests,
all their people that are attending the wedding.
It's great seeing traditions change and everything evolve. Like, because I mean, if you were still shooting the same stuff as 20 years ago, you want to blow your brains out.
Yeah, 100%. You know, it's just the weight of the cameras alone. You know, and the amount of equipment you needed. I mean, even simple things like the mics. You know, like before we had, and they're still in my bag for backup. I've got my Sennheisers. You know, now they're packs about that big, which doesn't seem that big, right? But if you've got 3 cameras, you need 3 sets. Then you've got to mic up the people up there as well. Now, I mean, like me and you, we're using one today. We've got the sticks. Yeah. We've also got the little DJI ones now, which are fantastic. You know, so
I think there's a fear. Again, technology is technology. For me, there's a massive fear in losing something. So you've got the lav mic, you've got the boom mic coming out the camera, you've got the dictaphones, you've got backup for backup.
100%, bro. I mean, even when it comes down to the cameras, you know,
dual saving.
3 cameras, ceremony, 3 camera speeches, because if anything, it's redundancy. You know, if something does go, card corruption, which fortunately, because of the double slots now, it's very, very rare. But it happens. You know, I mean, drunk people doing speeches, you know, right? They'll have the mic put on them. right? But because they're drunk, they're doing this and not, this and everything.
Yeah.
So I end up putting another one of
On
the
the
stick
microphone.
on the mic.
So I had that last year. The groom's dad was, he was 3 sheets to the wind very early. And I said, give him the choice. You have the mic on your waistcoat or in your jacket pocket. He was adamant he wanted it on his jacket. So we put it on his jacket.
You took his
Jacket off.
Yeah.
I've gone up to him twice. I went, dude, you need to put your jacket on just because otherwise it's not
You're
going
not going to hear it. Yeah.
Puts his jacket on,
Yeah.
takes his jacket off.
Yeah.
Luckily,
Karate Kid, jacket on, jacket off. Yeah, yeah.
Luckily, it was my first wedding taping the dictaphone to the microphone.
Yeah.
And it worked out a dream.
That is a lifesaver.
Absolute
It's
lifesaver.
like, so even like Cooley's a great example, right? Or any Old Kent Bar and Orangery, they've all got their own microphone systems, yeah, which is great. Okay.
The only issue with that is when you've got a best man that's a bit nervous and starts talking, and then the
microphone's over it. Yeah. So exactly that point, I'll still have one on him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll have one on the mic. So if he does knock it off, or he, I don't know, he gets nervous and takes his jacket off because he's too hot or anything else, you've got that redundancy.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, which people sometimes forget, we are filming a live event. We're not filming a movie where we can go reset, start all that. That's a no-no, you know? So it's a live event. So having redundancy and having backup is the sign, I believe, of a good videographer.
Absolutely.
Or even a good photographer. If having the spare in the bag, right? If the camera goes down, that's one thing. But not having the backup in the bag is something completely different.
I mean, you hear it all the time. I mean, people that go with one camera. What are you doing?
I'm bricking it just even thinking about it, bro.
One camera, 2 lenses, and then you see him put a lens down without the lens cap. Yeah. And like,
no control, right? Well, the biggest myth is that you have control at a wedding, because you don't, right? No. But having the knowledge of knowing that you've got everything there, if something goes wrong, right, just puts you in a better place.
Mate, it's a long slog, isn't it? Taking like 4 or 5 cases to a wedding, but
that's what the van's for, man.
Better to have it and not need it, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, man. So how do you juggle doing both photo and video? Because you're a bit of a hybrid.
So I don't do both at the same time, obviously.
Yeah.
I can do one or the other. I like the mixture.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Like, I wouldn't want to do video the whole time, and I wouldn't want to do photography the whole time.
Yeah.
Plus I've got the drone stuff and the Mariokis and the corporate and other bits and bobs as well. But in terms of weddings, it's whatever the client wants and books me for. So, as you know, we've got our little group with me, you, and a couple of the other boys that we share our work with. You know, if we've spoke yesterday, we've got a job hooked up that we've done booked together, and it's whatever the client wants. So again, going back to what I said about earlier about you'll be working at a wedding and you'll get passed your number to someone else. Whatever you was doing at that wedding is probably what they're going to want to book you for.
Yeah.
So if I was doing photos at a wedding and their mates are getting married, they'll want to book me for photos. So if I've got a photo job, I'll then speak to Luke quite often and say, look, you know, are you interested? If he's not free, I'll give you a bell to see if you're interested. And then sometimes they'll just book me for video because they've already got their photographer.
Yeah.
Which works.
Good for you, because then you're sort of covering both fields, right?
Yeah. I like the mixture. And then the question I get all the time is, what do I prefer? Neither. I like both.
Yeah.
Again, with photo editing and video editing, you know, it's a different feeling. When I'm doing photo editing, I'll have white noise movie on. Yeah. Okay. While I'm editing,
obviously I've got it doing the video as well.
Well, I can understand that, but for me, I have to concentrate on what I'm doing in terms
of what's your go-to
for movies.
Yeah.
What in terms of what
your background white noise while you're editing?
So it's definitely movies.
Yeah.
As a cinephile, if I don't watch at least a movie a day, something's wrong.
Yeah.
And it could be a 1980s 190-minute comedy.
Yeah.
Or it could be my big go-to at the minute is Aliens in 4K. Do you know what I mean? Because the restore on it is just unbelievable.
Yeah.
But I do like white noise. Well, we're actually on it now.
Keep
YouTube.
Keep you focused.
Yeah, it does. And also, it just helps me relax a bit as well. I'm terrible for YouTube, dude. I am a YouTube
black hole in it,
dude. And it's not just one thing now, it's lots of things. Like obviously like your Collect Comics, so I do a lot of comic book podcasts and videos and stuff, not making them, watching them.
Yeah.
I'm big into my pop culture. So I do a lot of. There's a guy called John Campion. He does
Yeah.
like some podcasts and stuff. Nerd Erotic, obviously, is huge at the moment. Although I find them to be quite negative sometimes when it doesn't have to be. Being political there, I suppose, a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just something there more for photo editing.
Yeah.
Video editing, I kind of can't do it.
See, a lot of people need a bit more because obviously you've got audio and stuff that goes through it. So what I do is mine's Big Bang Theory.
Yeah, oh yeah. Listen, yeah, I'll get
I've
it.
seen it a million times.
Yeah.
So I've not missed anything.
Yeah.
So if it's there and it's
Yeah.
making the noise,
It's something you've seen before. Yeah,
but
I
then
totally get it.
if I'm like, I've edited for an hour, I can go, right, I'm just going to chill out and watch the rest of this episode.
Yeah.
And then I can get straight back to it. Whereas if I've got YouTube on, there's no chance. I'll just sit and, again, black hole. Because you've got, you watch something that you watch.
Down the
and
rabbit hole. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just keep going, just keep going, just keep going. Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
man.
I'm the same.
So what keeps you motivated to keep going? Because obviously you've been doing it for quite a while now. So what drives you to carry on doing?
Dude, I think the biggest thing for me is job satisfaction.
Yeah.
How
many more jobs can you get this sort of satisfaction?
Dude, you know, you turn up, let's say 99.9% of the time, everyone's happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have fun. You get paid to have fun, right? Yeah. Don't get me wrong, there are some high pressure points, but if you're experienced enough and you've got the backup like we was talking about, that takes the pressure off a little bit. And it's the after phone call, bruv.
Yeah.
Or even at the end of the night, you know.
Yeah.
Yes, they're a little bit merry by then, and you know what I mean by that. But
I think it's nice because if you're getting nice compliments from someone who's a bit, even if it's a guest,
just smashed up. You know what I mean? Just giving you a cousin. Listen, nothing like a mum coming up to you, dude. A mum of a bride, right?
Yeah.
Next to the bride, this is what the mum's been thinking of her whole life.
Yeah.
You know, most, not all, but most. You know, and for the mum to come up to you at the end of the night and say, Joe, I cannot thank you. There are no words to say what you've done today. Thank you so much. Dude, you can't buy that.
And that's before seeing the footage, the photos.
That's because they just know they've either seen you at a previous job or they've had the relationship of meeting you at several wedding fairs or open days or... I mean, I've had it before because I do my final meetings over video. Right? I do like a WhatsApp or a FaceTime or whatnot. It's quicker for them, easier for me because I can do 3 or 4 meetings in an evening because I can't do them at the weekends because we're at work. And I've had mums, you know, in the meetings with them, you know, because that is how important it is to them. Not just from a financial point of view because they're probably helping out, but to make sure they're not being
having a good day.
And they're not going to be messed around.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, for me, the biggest thing, and I don't think it could ever be replaced, is job satisfaction.
Yeah.
You know, listen, we all get a tough one from now and then. We always do.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we're doing volumes each year, so it's...
If you're doing a percentages rates, you know, if you get 1 or 2 really tough ones a year, it's not like a real job. It's not like an office job where you've got to keep going back into that office and seeing that same person again and again.
Yeah.
I'm not going to see this person again.
And a lot of people get bogged down by that.
Yeah. No, you can't take it personal.
I work with we had a really, really bad wedding a couple of years. I won't talk about it too much, but the photographer, it was her first or second wedding, and the bride and groom were relentless with both of us. There was nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong. They just wanted a bit of money back. So they made this photographer feel really, really bad about herself. And I think it was 6 months until her next wedding. So she had like a long time to think.
Yeah.
Whereas mine was like 2 days after.
Yeah.
And for me, like, we've been doing it a while, so you could just get over it like that. But to sit on it for 6 months, you can understand why someone would just go, I'm not doing this.
I mean, I think a lot of that comes back to the expectation levels now of what social media has done.
Yeah.
In terms of what people expect, but it cuts back to this thing of being a live event. You know, I
think one of the worst things couples can do is look at us as if we're employees.
Yeah, I want to work with you, not for you.
Yeah. And that's why I always say, like, you book me based on personality.
Yeah,
you like the work, great. But you book me based on personality, and we're gonna have a good day.
Yeah.
But if you're just looking at me as you've paid me to be there,
Yeah.
and you're expecting so much
Yeah.
out. You ain't gonna get the best out of me. And
Yeah, I mean, I haven't experienced that loads, but where I've experienced it is working in London.
yeah,
As soon as you cross that river
yeah,
and you start going into London to do things, I think the clientele changes a little bit for me personally, a little bit.
yeah,
I love my Kent birds. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
My
yeah,
Kent
yeah,
geezers that just want to have a good time and a party,
yeah,
and enjoy themselves, but at the same time get some wicked creative out of it.
yeah.
You know, should the creative be the day? I don't think so. You know, I think it should
No.
be part of it,
Yeah,
but I don't think it should be it. The most important thing is that you flip and enjoy yourself.
yeah, exactly.
You've just done 30 grand. You know what I mean? On one day, right? Average, I'm
Yeah.
just saying, probably a lot more for some other people and a lot less for others. And you've spent a year, 18 months planning this day.
Yeah,
So enjoy it. You know, it's the best advice I
Yeah.
can give to any couple. Once you actually get to the day itself, let the venue do their thing, let the photographer do his
Trust
thing.
us.
Yeah, trust us, because
one of
we
the
want to do a good job for
Yeah.
you. You know, if they're good. You know,
like the recurring advice on this show is, if you book your suppliers right, you ain't gonna have a thing to worry.
No.
If you're worrying about anything on your day and it's not taken care of,
yeah,
you've not hired
the
right.
right people. No, definitely not.
And I truly believe that.
I do too.
Because I think if me and you were to just show up to a wedding and you just take photos, I just take videos, we go home, and that's all we've done,
Yeah,
we've done a bad
yeah,
job.
100%. If I see need something that, even if it's out of my remit, if you like, or my area of what I should be working, I see something ain't right, I will probably say something.
Yeah.
You know, because it's the knock-on effect it can have for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
You know, that is our
Timing.
yeah.
Timing. It falls on us a lot, doesn't it?
100%. They can't move dinner, dude.
No.
Right? If they've got 150 people, right, and she's half hour late, you ain't getting that time back.
No.
Most of the time. You know, it's like, sorry, guys, maybe you could take them out in between courses, or you can take them out after dinner.
Which
and
how
else.
many couples really, unless there's a killer sunset, how many couples really want to walk away from
No,
their
they don't,
date?
mate. It's time to. There are times for everything at a wedding day, and when you sit in the wedding breakfast, I really hate disturbing my clients. I
Yeah.
want them to, you know, sit down, chill
Enjoy it.
out, see some people, have a drink.
Because that's a good time for them to go round to tables and
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, removing the whole receiving lines,
Yeah.
things. That's one of the trends that isn't there so much nowadays. Along with throwing the bouquet. That's I hardly ever do that anymore.
yeah. See, I'm trying to convince couples to keep doing the receiving line,
Yeah,
because you'll know as well as I do. They've said hello to everyone then,
yeah,
and then you're less likely to have people just pulling you
yeah,
just to say hello.
yeah. That's
Because
it.
that's all people want to do, is
Yeah.
they want you to know that they're there.
Yeah,
And if you do that, you've seen everyone.
yeah. Everyone. Great examples when they first arrive at a wedding. The first person they go and see, if they see him, is the groom.
Yeah.
Because you've invited him to the wedding. You just want to go up to him and go, "You all right?" You're gonna
Yeah.
get the same 3 questions every single time. You all right?
Do you want a drink?
What did you do last night? Do you want a drink? You know, that's that kind of thing. You know, so it's the same questions, but yeah, it's difficult, but at the same time, you know, if you have the experience and knowledge of what you have,
Yeah.
then you can sort anything out.
Yeah, man, exactly. So obviously you've done a lot of weddings now. What is the craziest or most unexpected thing you've seen? He would start as well.
Get the answer for me. I think again, you know, that's a multi-layered answer, you know, because you know what to one person is crazy is completely horrible,
Yeah.
and then another person who thinks he's completely crazy is just the most amazing thing they've ever seen in their entire life. Yeah, listen, I've seen all sorts, fights, drunk grooms before the ceremony.
Yeah.
You know,
One of my first weddings was a drunk groom.
mate, it's just like you just want to say to him, dude, for so many reasons, but other from the grief you are going to get from your new wife if you don't sort yourself out, right? And also, you ain't going to remember it,
No.
right? And I always say to all my clients, get your speeches done, right? Then start getting on it,
Yeah.
right? Okay, because listen,
Well, legally as well.
you
for the
can't drink
ceremony.
before the ceremony.
No.
No, but I mean, I had one. This was a couple of years ago. He went out on a night and didn't go to bed, bruv, the night before his wedding.
Oh dear.
So he's turned up not drunk anymore, but he's
knackered and
he's done.
hanging and yeah.
He's done, and now he's just done he's just done a load of money
Yeah.
for a day that he either don't want to be at, or you know, he's not going to remember or get the most out of.
No.
But all weddings are crazy, dude.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I do it. You know, I literally, like yourself, get up in the morning and I'm like, what the hell is going to happen today? You know, I just don't know.
Every day is different.
Every day is different. It's different venue, different people, different style of wedding. I mean,
Yeah.
my second wedding this year was a Star Wars wedding. You know,
that was sick.
it was pretty cool. You know what I mean? It was pretty cool. And then, you know, I had a Lord of the Rings wedding in November.
Yeah.
You know, where the bride was literally dressed as Gladriel from Lord of the Rings. The groom had like body armor and a big belt and a sword, and you know, not my taste.
They've done it for themselves,
They've
though,
done it
haven't
for
they?
themselves, and that's what a wedding should be. You know, all too often people are trying to please other people for weddings for political reasons, religious reasons, love reasons, whatever it may be. You know, but I actually like those weddings because it's their day, their way. And they ain't following social media. They ain't following trends. They're not doing what they're doing what they want to do. And I respect that. I respect that.
So talking about trends there.
Yeah.
What's one wedding trend you absolutely love?
Yeah.
And one that you wish would just disappear?
What? Okay. So the one that we've mentioned it already, the bouquet toss.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Has died. Right. Okay. And the only reason I like it is because I can stick a business card in the bouquet as she catches it.
I've never even thought that.
Dude, I'm on it, bro. I've been doing the weddings too long. So I want to come back because I can get another gig out straight, the one that's just been shot. But without jokes aside, if you perform at a wedding anyway, you're going to get more work out of it, no matter what you do. But yeah, listen, jokes aside, trends, they all come and go. What they do positively and negatively is date your wedding.
Yeah.
You know, there was the time, what was the freezing thing where everyone had to stand still and everyone walked around with a camera with flash mob, not flash mob. It was something like where basically you stood still in a room and they came around. We was doing that for weeks on end in one summer.
That was like pre-COVID, wasn't it?
Was pre-COVID, pre-COVID. Other trends, you could say karaoke, you know, like back in the mid 2010s, like from 2011 to 2015, everyone was doing karaoke.
Yeah.
I think social media again, you know, is culprit, not the right word.
Key for all the trends, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I get it. These girls, it's not so much the boys, but the girls, they've been asked. The Excel spreadsheet is built, right? They've been to the wedding fairs and they're on their phones every night.
Yeah.
Right? They're on their phones every night going, I want that, I want that, I want that, I want that, I want that. And it must be really hard to plan a wedding nowadays.
Yeah.
Because of everything that's thrown at you. I mean, you go to open days or wedding fairs now. I mean, some of the stuff that's offered there nowadays is just crazy. I mean, some of it really cool. Creches, you know, like...
We just had a wedding creche on the show.
And that's just so the adults can go and get smashed up.
I think it's a fucking great idea.
It's a fucking brilliant idea. I'm glad we can swear on this podcast.
Yeah.
It's just... listen, the kids will have as much a good time, right, on the dance floor or in a creche with Untold to play with, you know? I mean, it's getting more and more common now, no kid weddings. Yeah. You know, that's a trend that is becoming very, 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 very... I've got quite a few coming up this month. And I'm going through that. Whenever I do my final meeting, I've got my list here, I've got my paper here, and I'm like, right, and this is how I find out what type of wedding it is. Bridal party. How many bridesmaids you got? I've got 4, brilliant, okay. How many ushers you got? I've got 4, brilliant, okay. How many flower girls? None. How many page boys? None. Right, okay. This is a no kid wedding. Yeah. You know, you can tell.
It sort of splits the group, I think, from what I've heard. Like some parents like love it. They get a night off, they can have a drink, they get a hotel.
Yeah, but then they've got to find someone to look after the kids and then be hanging in the next day.
A lot of people have got like, so we've got a good support system with our little one.
Yeah.
So we've got my mum and dad, partner's mum and dad. So we've got a lot of people around us. But a lot of people don't.
No.
So they're like, well, what do we do?
What do we do with our kids? I get it. But then it comes back to what we was talking about previously. It's your day, your way. You ain't getting it again, right? You're the one that's doing a load of money and the time, dude. Yeah. I think people forget how much time goes into planning a wedding.
Yeah.
And it's your day, your way, your trends. You have it what you want. And as decent photographers and videographers or any supplier, we will fit ourselves to what you want for your day.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not being funny. A lot of people, you like you say, you're paying 20, 30K for a wedding. Do you really want
Minimum.
someone else's child screaming during
the ceremony?
Because a lot of people don't want to miss the ceremony.
No, I've
so they're gonna
brides with the eye roll. Do you know what I mean? They're like, you can say, "Get that kid out of my ceremony now."
Speeches, man. I mean, as a videographers, how fucking annoying is it when you see that one kid running around your camera?
And
through the legs
and holding on to it like this. And go, I totally get it. And the parents are doing nothing.
I've only had one parent that's pulled her child away. Yeah. But last year I had someone's kid go underneath one of these. Yeah. And knock the camera.
Yeah. And that's
the lens.
That's 20 grand.
Yeah.
I mean 20 grand. That's 2 grand gone straight away.
And unfortunately for the couple, they signed the liability contract that
it's your kid, you got to pay for it.
I said to the couple, I was like, pass the fucking bill on to them.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if you're not in control of your kids, man, that's
But and then you can see why they say no kid winning, and also, it is because they just want to get smashed up and they just don't want any palaver, any kids about. And I get it.
Yeah,
I get it.
Plus, there's another worry of like if not all venues are blocked off.
No.
So, what if one goes missing?
Yeah, like
venues with water on.
Not mentioning venues because I don't want to do that, but some have got water.
Yeah.
Some have got fields, some have got roads.
Yeah.
Some are just open.
Yeah, I don't know about you. I'd rather not worry about that too much.
Nah, but it does come back to, and I say what the couple wants is what she wants at the end of the day. So not all the time, but most guys just want their girl to have the best day ever.
Exactly.
And then I'll say this to my clients, dude, if I look after her, right, we're good.
Yeah.
Right, because you're good if she's good. We're pretty simple creatures, us humans.
Bride feature and groom.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Very rare is it the other way around.
No. But occasionally it is.
Occasionally it is.
Occasionally it is. Yeah.
So have you ever had anything happen to you at a wedding that's gone like seriously wrong? Obviously, you've been doing this job a long time.
Yeah.
We spoke about cards corrupting.
Yeah. I mean, for me, the because of the way cameras are built now with the double slots,
you do a bloody good job to lose that footage.
Yeah, and also it's about backup as well. So I'll back up in triplicate.
Yeah.
I've got a RAID. I've got 70 terabytes of RAID in my little cabin. So it's mirrored straight away. So no matter if it's 250 gig or 500 gig, it's copied straight away onto another drive. But then I have another external drive. First, I'm going to swear again, for shits and giggles, basically. It's just so I can sleep at night. So that kind of redundancy over the last few years has made it very, 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 very difficult to fuck up. You know, if you've got the double slots in the camera, doubling up on the audio, and you've got 3 cameras in your ceremony and speeches, all right, it happens. There could be a fault and it just shuts down, or summer overheats. Right? Yeah, I've had that before. But if you've got 3, then you have the redundancy to make sure that you've got at least 2 cams to run if one goes down.
Perfect example. The first episode I did with Matty Evans, and 2 of the cameras, awesome magician.
Good lad.
But 2 of the cameras, the settings were off, like the frame rate was off, so the audio wouldn't link up to him. So luckily we still had 1 camera that did. Right. So it's a prime example there. That
redundancy. So my biggest issues were back in the day on the tapes, bruv.
Yeah.
Because it was a single tape.
Yeah.
And there'll be times, no matter if you clean the heads, because you have to do head cleaning and all that kind of thing, they would crinkle.
Yeah.
Right? And as soon as you get a kink in that tape, you're going to get interference on everything you do. So there was a couple of times where we had some tapes crinkle, if you like. But again, we learned from that, or I learned from that, where we used to first started single cam setup, and we're like, hang on a minute, we're about to do 2, then 3, and then I've done 4 before. I did a wedding last year. It was only a twilight, like a small twilight ceremony, but the room I had for what was going on in that ceremony, I didn't feel comfortable with the 3 cams. So I grabbed a bracket, stuck the cam on the bracket, stuck it up on the ceiling up there, had it wide the whole time.
Yeah.
It was an hour delivery of the rings.
Oh, okay.
right?
Cool.
Okay, so you know, I had to get it. You know, I
Yeah.
had to get it. So I was like, sod it, plugged it up in the corner up there onto a bracket, stuck it up, look it wide, got the whole thing coming in.
That's
So
cool.
redundancy is a big part of what we do on a day.
Yeah.
But hopefully you will never know about it.
Yeah. Yeah, man. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes that
Tons.
we got to deal with.
Tons.
What's your biggest stress on the day? For me, it's that like 10 minutes before ceremony when you got to get
The
everything.
runarounds, yeah, the
Like
runaround.
the cameras all in place.
The biggest
Cameras
stress
in
for me on a
focus.
day is stressy couples.
Stressy couples.
Yeah. And I get it. It's a nervous thing, especially pre-ceremony, because that's the most
Yeah.
nervous part. But post-ceremony, let your hair down, man.
Yeah.
You know, just enjoy yourself.
I always say that because I mean that like prime example is like your dressmaker dirty. If you're not
It's-
blessed with a
babe,
sunny day,
It's gonna get dirty.
it's gonna get dirty.
It's gonna get dirty.
You
right?
may get a hole in it.
Yeah, it's gonna.
When are you gonna wear it?
Someone's gonna step on it, and again, listen.
Sometimes we're gonna step on it.
Biggest thing. Well, sometimes creative data can look amazing, right? But wearing one is a pain in the arse,
Yeah.
and that's a cathedral veil, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cathedral veils look amazing in photography and video, right? Okay, they look great, right? But that poor girl will be doing that all day long, right? As everyone steps on the back of a cathedral veil.
Yeah.
So there's a little tip for you girls: have 2 veils.
Yeah.
All right, have one for your ceremony and then one for your photos. There
Yeah.
you go. More money. Yeah.
You're watching this, for fuck's sake, Terry.
Yeah. They don't need me to find more ways to spend money. man.
Groom's got God's
Yeah.
sake.
Yeah.
So talking about like stressy couples, we get a lot of shy couples.
Yeah.
Not every couple is
No,
good on camera,
No.
used to being on camera.
no, they're not.
What's your go-to to help these
Yeah.
couples relax?
Really good question. Really good question. And what you constantly have to remember as a wedding photographer, wedding videographer, is that the couple you are with have never done this before.
No.
Right? They don't know what they are doing. You know, they don't know how to pose if they
Yeah.
want to be posed. I think the big answer to that is your meeting before the wedding.
Yeah.
Right? Again, about adjusting yourself, not just in terms of the way you approach things, but tonally, and also verbally. You know, listen, it comes across in this. I like having a laugh. You know, I like
Yeah.
having a laugh at work. I don't like going to work and being a miserable sod.
No.
Right. But there are some people that are just very, very minimal speakers. They don't want to stand up and do a speech in front of people, right? It's their worst nightmare. Hence
Yeah.
why they do speeches before dinner and not after dinner. Yeah, I get it. I totally get it. I think in that meeting is a real good way of in showing them that you care, right? That you're there for them.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. Listen, guys. I mean, you could say, look, you could just give an example if you wanted to. You could show them a really smoochy kind of pic and in the sun, in a magic hour,
Yeah.
kind of thing, and then show them just a walking shot and just go, guys,
Pick one.
what is your thing that you? I really like this sort of thing. And guess what? All we're gonna do is walk and talk.
Yeah.
And while you're doing that, I explain it to them as this. I say, look, I like having a laugh at my weddings. We're going outside to have a laugh, and at the same time, I'm going to take some pictures of you.
Yeah.
That's the best way I can explain it. Yeah.
And it's hard to sort of understand that until you're in the moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's great doing it on your final call, but until they're there
Yeah.
and can truly understand, like, I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
I'll make you laugh.
I'm a dickhead. I'm
Yeah.
happy to make myself look like a dickhead. And if that all fails, it's the 2 B's, as I call them. Yeah. Booze and banter.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Just give her a Prosecco. Right. Give him a freaking Jaeger bomb if he needs it. Right. Okay. Not suggested. Right. But, you know, something just I mean, the other thing is as well is let them go and enjoy their wedding first. If they might just want to just chill. More from my experience of shy couples, right, is that let them just enjoy themselves, do lots of natural stuff, lots and lots of natural stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then say, guys, would you like to come do a couple of pics?
Because that ratio is quite small. Like it's like 80% candid, 20% we're going to do couples.
Yeah, it's tiny compared to the
If
whole
that.
day itself.
Yeah, if
I
that.
mean, if you're lucky, you get to take them out twice, don't you?
Yeah.
You know, you do once before dinner, just so you've got something
Safety.
in the back pocket. If the weather changes, or God forbid something happens at the wedding or whatever, you've got something in your back pocket.
Yeah.
You know, but then you want that magic hour. You want the golden
Yeah.
hour. You want to take them to the field. You want to get them those classic
Be
shots.
creative.
Yeah, best it. That's the best time to be creative.
Yeah.
But by then, also, hopefully, they've had a drink.
Yeah.
And they've had some food. You know, they're not hangry. You know, they're ready to just go and enjoy themselves. Because you do see it. You know, when you get in the morning, some brides are, hotel, let's do this, let's go. And you get others, like, as soon as you walk in with a camera, I've had it. They've been in tears. Literally tears. And it's for me, as a good photographer or a good videographer, and go, look, babe, listen,
It's just a good person.
I'm here for you, darling.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not here to make you feel uncomfortable. Right? I'm not here to make you not enjoy yourself. I'm hopefully the glue that's going to stick this all together for you.
Yeah.
That you can have a wicked day.
And sometimes the bridal prep needs that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, again, a great example of that is, I've had it before, and I know you have as well. You walk into a bridal suite, there's a bride, there's a mum, and there's 5 bridesmaids, right? None of them have got makeup on, right? None of them.
Yeah.
Okay. Some of them are not feeling exactly comfortable in the clothes that they've been given for the day because they don't have a choice, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to wear it, right? So it's about making them feel comfortable around you, going up to the girls and saying, look, girls, I'm here.
Yeah.
Nothing unflattering is ever going to be used, right? Okay. And my makeup shots, I wait until your base layer is on before I do any shots.
I always say, if I can make you and your girls feel great when you're in your pajamas, hair in a bun, no makeup, just imagine how good you're going to feel once you're all done and feeling.
But the other side of that is the change that happens, Joe, and you've seen this as well, right? They start off like that in the bridal suite where they won't even look at you, right? But by 4:30 in the afternoon, they've got you in a headlock going, let's do some photos. And, you know, it's just, it's not going to be an instant thing.
It's a short amount of time. We've got to get to know them. They've got to get to know us.
Yeah, and make them feel comfortable. Yeah. No matter...
It's not easy.
No, well, no, it's not if, depending on the client, you know, like if you've met them at an open day, or this is the thing of where the social media takes that away, that extra step of, because some people just book.
Yeah.
They don't actually like go to meet them or anything like that. Then you have your initial meeting. That initial meeting should be exactly how you are going to be on the day. Yeah. Yeah. So they can understand how you approach the wedding.
You getting what you pay for then.
Yeah. I mean, again, banter's a lot of part of what I do. You know, I'm constantly taking the mickey out of the groom. Right? Because they're useless. Yeah. Right, okay. I back them up and say, look, bruv, the reason you ain't getting involved in the wedding is because every time you suggest something, it's wrong, dude. Stupid. Right? Yeah, stupid boy. They sit down,
tie your shoes.
Exactly, right? And she likes that because the majority of the time it's true, you know? And he's good if I'm making her laugh and she's having a good time, you know? So I always say wedding photography and videography, it's not just about tech skills, it's about people skills. And people skills are a massive, massive part. Yeah. You've got to go up to someone, listen, a 7-foot geezer, right, that's been on the gear and the beer all day long, right? And you've got to get him to do something, you know? So
you need to know how to work different people. Yeah. Like you say, you've got shy people, confident people, people on gear, which is a lot more popular than people think. You got to know how to not control, but speak to people, have a laugh with everyone, and not make anyone feel like they're not doing anything natural. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I had a same-sex wedding in March, beginning of March, 2 guys. Yeah. And the brief was, we just want some nice walking stuff, right? That's what you're going to get. Yeah. Right? I'm going to put you in different positions. I'm going to ask you about conversation. Like, for example, they didn't book their honeymoon yet, right? So I'll just say, right, boys, talk about honeymoon. Where you going? So they're not doing anything. They're just looking at each other, and I'll say, smile, and they just do a smile, bang, got it, move on. Just keep it nice and relaxed. Yeah. Have you ever had any weird requests? Every wedding. Every wedding. Again, some people's weird is other people's normal, isn't it? You know? Yeah. Weird requests. You'd think he'd be asleep by now. What, the dog? The dog. He's enjoying the podcast, mate. That's what it is. Hearing my voice. Yeah, I mean,
weird request is attending, you know, a Lord of the Rings wedding.
Yeah,
You know, I've done Buddhist weddings. I've done Roman weddings where everyone had to wear togas.
Wow. Okay.
That was interesting.
Were they Roman?
Yes. No, they weren't. That's from Lucia. No, I'm joking. I can't
Well, they
remember.
could be Roman.
I can't remember. I've done Star Wars weddings, like the one I just done previously, but I did another one before that. Dinner was served by stormtroopers and Darth Vader.
Yeah.
You know, I've
That's
done
sick.
Harry Potter themed weddings.
Yeah.
You know, now themed weddings to some people are
Cringy
is everything, and you know, to some extent they are, depending on how it's done.
Yeah.
You know, there's either a flavour or there's it.
Yeah.
You know, and I tend towards more of a flavour if I was, you know, like table names. I mean, I had one a little while ago. They had every centerpiece on the table was a masterpiece, dude.
Yeah.
That's all they had in the whole room. It was like in a heritage venue, so it didn't need much. And each centerpiece was based on movies.
Yeah.
And it was just made out of clay. And it must have took weeks.
So I had a Disney one, kind of similar. It weren't a high end venue, but they've clearly gone lower end for the venue so they could put more into the budget. And all the centerpieces were beautiful little. They were like globes of scenes from their favorite Disney movies.
Yeah.
And they must have spent a fortune on each of these.
But some people will spend a fortune on this.
Yeah, it's the most important.
Other people, to them, other people will spend a fortune on this. I mean, I had 3 Disney weddings last year.
Yeah.
So themed, you know.
Yeah.
But it's your day, your way.
Yeah, exactly. I got some unpopular opinions.
Oh God.
Okay, I'll go through one with you.
Try and be politically correct now. Yeah, go on.
DJs should avoid typical wedding playlists. We don't need to hear the Cha-Cha Slide or Sweet Caroline all the time.
I'll revert back to whatever I've said before. It's what the bride and groom want.
Yeah.
If they want the Macarena, have the flipping Macarena. Okay, right? If you just want 80s music, right? You just have 80s music. Don't let anyone tell you what you can and cannot do. That includes your parents, right? It's your day, your way.
Enjoy it.
You do what you want. If you want the Macarena, have the Macarena.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some really good DJs within our industry. We're really lucky.
And they'll most of them will sit with you and go, "What is vetoed? What are if people come up and request?"
Yeah.
And they'll have a little sign.
Multicultural weddings is a great example. You know, that most of the DJs won't have probably a lot of African-based music.
Yeah.
Right. So they'll give it to the DJ, and the DJ will play what they want.
Yeah.
There's no difference from that to what a bride and groom's requesting from an 80s pop list. You know, like listen, one guaranteed song at every wedding is Whitney Houston. I want to dance with somebody. You know, it's gonna be played.
Yeah.
You know, so and again, you've got the problem of the audience that you're playing to. Right, so you know your wedding. Anyone knows their wedding. Are you going to have the majority of the people going to be 25 to 45, right? Or are the majority of the guests going to be, because it's an older wedding, are they going to be 55 to 75? Because you're not going to want to be playing. I'm just saying this, you know, certain types of music for that crowd that this crowd will want to be listening to. You know, we've done it before. I've had MC Kai and you know a few garage. Like sets at weddings before, and as soon as that happens, all the oldies go out to the bar, you know. So
mine's just gonna be heavy metal.
You surprise me. Listen, and again, it's your day, your way. You know, we've got as you know, we've both got Luke and Dan's wedding.
Yeah.
The week after each other. Cheers, boys. Coming up this year in October.
Luckily, I've not had any requests for Dan's wedding.
I'm going to be there. Yeah. I'm as a guest as well, which is going to be. I'm shooting. I'm shooting Luke's.
Yeah. I haven't had an invite to Luke's yet, so
Luke, where is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's again, you know, they're similar boys.
Yeah.
You know, I've known them both for over 10 years, but their weddings will both be very different.
Yeah.
Luke's got a massive Irish flavour to his, I believe.
Yeah.
I haven't been there yet, so I don't know. But he's got like 150 people.
Wow.
You know, it's a big gig.
Yeah.
I believe Catherine, his missus, she's got quite a big Irish family that are all coming over for it. Whereas Dan's, I don't know, but what is he 60, 70, 100, you know? Everyone's different.
Yeah. It'd be nice to have a day off.
Yeah, I'm shooting Luke's.
Yeah.
I'm shooting. Ryan from Talking Flies doing the video.
Yeah.
I'm doing the photos, and then I'm just a guest. I think I'm at Dan's,
Yeah.
unless he wants me to do something. But I'll do, bruv. You just tell me.
Yeah.
Listen, any way I could. If I'm at a wedding, it's going to be like a busman's holiday, bruv. Right?
Yeah.
I'm going to be sitting there, and I'm going to be watching. If he's got a photographer and a videographer, and I want to go, I'm going to be.
Yeah.
I'm going to be a meerkat.
Yeah.
You know. So
Dan's got some good vendors. He's got Tommy Reynolds doing photo and Alex Mulhill doing video.
I'm sure it's going to be an amazing job and day for him. But it's not them.
Yeah.
It's
I
me.
did the same doing security. You know, you train to like go in, know where the cameras are. So most buildings I go into now, we're looking for the cameras and the fire escapes and the exits. And
I'm just going to get drunk and make an idiot of myself and dance on the dance floor. Yeah.
Wait, so where can people find you to get you booked in for their wedding day?
So yes, tdhmedia.co.uk, obviously on Facebook, Instagram. I'm more on Vimeo than I am on YouTube.
Yeah.
I find Vimeo is better for delivery for corporate services and downloading and sharing everything else. But yeah, if you want to get inquiries, just drop me an email, give me a shout. Even if you just want to talk about your day, I'd love to hear from you.
Right, we'll make sure you tagged in everything.
Sweet, bro.
Before we sort of wrap up on this episode, who do you want to see on the show in the future?
Oh, really good question, dude.
But I also want to say at least 3 people have asked for you to be on the show.
That's very nice to hear, mate. That's very nice to hear. We are actually a small industry.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks it's a big industry, and it is over the UK. But if you work in Kent, you will see the same bods in the same places all the time if you're lucky. I'm pretty confident that I haven't got any enemies, which is a really nice feeling. It's a fairly close community.
Yeah.
You know, word gets passed around, and everything else. So yeah, we're very lucky in this industry. We've got some wicked suppliers,
some incredible suppliers,
and some proper characters as well. If I didn't mention getting Nelson on here, that'd be.
So Nelson's episode is released next week.
Is it really?
Yeah,
there you go.
He actually asked for you to come on the show as well. Yeah.
He's a lunatic. So yeah, I love Nelson. Obviously you've got some fantastic entertainment here. The Redfords are great. I know you had Grooves on here before. Them boys, they're wicked. I've worked with them quite a few times in the past. They actually did my mate's wedding last year.
Incredible band.
Yeah, wicked. His voice is amazing, and he's also personality.
They did a acoustic Tennessee whiskey. Here.
Yeah.
Oh my god! I love watching them boys anyway. But when it's
there, and you're a big music man anyway, and you appreciate it. You know, I wish I could play an instrument, but I can't.
Yeah, me too.
You know? So yeah, you've got the great Redfords. They're really cool. I mean, I know you've had a couple of magicians in here before, but Spencer's really cool.
Spencer's episode's out today.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
What's that? That's good. What's that? Chris Harding as well. He's lovely. Yeah. I think the room decorators. I think that there's some really artistic and great room decorators. I don't want to reel them all off because I'll get in trouble. But you know the ones that I'm talking about. There are some really great companies there. Listen, dude, if you can get a venue in here, that would be
we had
cool.
The Ferry House.
There you go. Yeah.
And so my thing, obviously, we're in March now.
Yeah.
So we're going into that busy season. So and venues are already busy. So trying to find a couple of people from venues at the minute,
it's tough.
Is going to be a luxury.
Yeah, it's tough. Yeah.
Mate, we'll reach out to the Redfords.
I mean, I think, as I said, you're blessed, man. There are so many good suppliers, right? And it takes time to find them, right? But there are so many good suppliers in Kent that care about what they do. They care about their clients. They care about the product they're providing to you and the service they're providing to you. So I think you're really lucky. You've got actually quite a few.
There's a lot to choose from.
Yeah, and there's a few bods. Yeah. I mean, I would say I definitely think you should get them in, and I'm looking forward to seeing a couple of the names that you've just said just now. Yeah.
Spencer's one was funny.
Yeah, he's a good lad.
Spencer's one was funny.
He's a good lad. He's a good lad.
Well.
He's very talented.
Yeah.
As I say, there are some very talented magicians. I don't want to read them all if I get in trouble. Chris Harding, Matty Evans, Adam, Spencer. You know, they're all really nice lads. I miss one. I'm sorry, but it's just I'm on camera.
like I say, we're hopefully going to have a lot more people on the show anyway.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
man.
man, highlight
Cool.
a lot of these
Yeah.
awesome businesses.
Yeah,
But
wicked.
we're actually obviously going to roll on to another episode in a minute,
Yes,
which
exciting.
if you've watched this one all the way to the end, the next one we're going to get a bit nitty gritty and speak about some things that need to be spoken about. So see you all next week.